Hey everyone, Eric here. In this video, we're checking out the Longsword from Electronic Audio Experiments. The Longsword is an overdrive pedal built with dynamics and versatility in mind. If we take a look at the controls, up here on the top left, we have our output volume, which when set around 9 o'clock, just like on most other Electronic Audio Experiments pedals, is unity gain. And from there, you actually boost your signal further when turning up past around 9 or 10 o'clock. So over here on the top, we have the drive control, which lets you dial in more or less breakup or saturation. The drive control is very interactive with all of the other controls, but especially the output volume, because as you increase the gain, you're going to get a louder signal, so you can compensate by turning the output volume down. We have 3 different EQ controls on the Longsword to shape our tone further, but first we're going to look at the low and high. These 2 controls let you boost or cut both low frequencies and high frequencies. So with each of these knobs, the low and the high set at noon, you get a flat response. As you turn it up past noon, you're actually boosting that frequency. So if we turn the high up, we're actually boosting treble. Conversely, if we turn the knob below noon, we're actually going to cut that frequency. The low and high EQ controls are what's known as a Baxandall EQ, and that is a low and high shelf. You get 2 filters that you can move independently, and your mid-range is static, which by itself even can give you a lot of different sounds. So if you want a mid-push sound, you can actually attenuate both low and high to bring the lows and highs down to get a more mid-focused sound, so you have a mid-hump. Reverse to what we just did, you can actually get a mid-scoop sound by boosting bass and treble. So you're actually taking the flat response and boosting the bass and the treble up, so you have a mid-range scoop. In addition to the low and high Baxandall EQ setup we have here on the bottom, we actually have a mid-range control in the middle on the top. And this control is tied to the shift toggle that's right here beside it. So the mid knob, just like our low and high knobs, can boost or cut mid-range frequency. So at noon, you have a flat mid-range response. If you want to boost it, you turn it up above noon. If you want to cut the mid-range, you turn it below noon. shift toggle lets you change your frequency that your mid-range is boosting or cutting. In the bottom position of the shift toggle, we have control over the 300 Hz frequency on our mid control, and that's in the lower mids. If we turn it to the top position, we get a higher mid-range at 1000 Hz, so we can boost or cut 1000 Hz. And don't tell anyone else, but there's a secret setting on this. If you turn the mid knob all the way up and it's on the 1000 Hz setting, that kind of gives you like HM2 style sounds. The right toggle is our clipping diode selection. On the bottom position of our diode selection, we get silicon diodes, which translates into a higher gain sound, a more saturated sound with a little bit less output volume. In the top position, we move to MOSFET clipping, which has a little bit more output volume and a little bit less gain, and overall a little bit more aggressive sound. And in the middle of the diode selection switch, we actually lift the diodes out of the circuit, so we're not using any clipping diodes. And this is the most uncompressed and open setting on the Longsword, because we're not limiting that dynamic range by clipping off the waveform with the other two positions. We have a little bit less gain even, and a little bit more output volume in the no diode clipping mode. The Longsword gives you the option of having a boost before your drive circuit, accessible with this boost flip switch right here, and the boost knob, which controls the amount of volume boost. One thing to note is that the boost can only be used when the pedal is on. And when the boost is engaged, your signal goes into this boost and then into the main drive circuit of the Longsword, which means we can have different levels of gain in the Longsword. So we can have two different levels of gain. Our main gain stage when we turn the pedal on, then we can engage this boost to get even more volume going into the circuit, which results in more gain in the main circuit. And this brings us to another use for the boost, which is maxing out the volume and maxing out the drive. Now in this setting, you're gonna get a lot of gain, which translates into more of like a fuzzy type texture. So it gets into like fuzz pedal realms. hope you enjoyed this look at the Longsword from Electronic Audio Experiments. If you did, please subscribe to the channel, check out all the other gear demos and instructional videos I have here on the channel, and if you want to follow me on a daily basis, you can always head on over to Instagram and follow me at Eric Merrow. Before I get out of here, I want to send a huge thank you to these folks right over here who are my executive producers for my Patreon page. I really appreciate all the support and I cannot thank you enough. Thank you so much. If you would like to learn more about Patreon, I'll leave a link in the description below. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you for watching. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're staying safe, and I will see you in the next video.